Okay, it's been way too long. I don't know, what, 3 weeks? And so yeah, a couple of changes. So we've had school holidays, so it's been a bit crazy. And I've got the new board. So ideally I would have just gone out and bought a GTR, but unfortunately I'm not in a situation at the moment to be able to do that. So I had to raise the money for a new board. I had the Wowgo 2S and I wanted to upgrade. It was struggling with the distance to get to work, and I wanted the option to put off-road AT wheels on, be able to upgrade things like the battery, if anything goes wrong to be able to swap parts out and stuff, where the Chinese boards are okay, but they have their limitations in terms of upgrades and things you can do to them. So I wanted to decide between a GTX and a GTR. Now, ideally I'd have gone for the GTR, but like I say, money wasn't there, so I had to sell some stuff and raised enough to buy a second-hand GTX. Now I have read some issues and stuff online with the battery sag, the batteries in general, disconnection issues with the controller, and then like the board suddenly stopping and things. Now I did speak to other people as well who have had no issues and had the boards for a long time, and I did borrow one for 2 weeks, the GTX, some time ago, and had no issues at all. So trying to make that decision, I was watching the second-hand market, and obviously all the reviews over the GTRs and stuff. Ended up going for a GTX. I saw one. The cycle count on the battery is very low. It is about 18 months old, but the cycle count is very low. The board looked brand new. It actually came with, so here it is, it's got the AT wheels had never been used, they weren't on the board. The wheels that were on the board were the standard black ones. So the 97mm ones, these are the ones on the board, the only ones that had been used, and as you can see they're still in pretty good condition. So they're the only ones that have been on the board. It also came with these massive Superfly 107s that I'm keen to try as well. I think these might be a good in between AT and the smaller street wheels. So interested to try those. It's got the standard R1 remote, and the board I borrowed, actually I used the first week, I used it with the R1 remote, and then used the R2 remote for the second week, and actually preferred the R1 remote, and especially now coming from the Wowgo as the wheel, it seems to make sense to be able to go forward and back on this. It is a little bit jerky if you're not used to it. It's a little bit more powerful, a lot more torque than the Wowgo, so I need to get used to that. So my main concern was the battery, but the idea is that if the battery doesn't do what it wants me to do in terms of the battery sag and the distance, the range, I'll just have to upgrade the battery and put an aftermarket battery on, which I've heard will make it pretty close to the GTR, especially in terms of range, and then get rid of the battery sag. So I took the board out yesterday for its first big ride, and where I live there's lots of hills up and down. As you can see, this was a hill going down. I went up and down lots of these hills and just done a good distance to see whether it's going to get me to and from work. So I've done over the distance to work with the AT wheels on in GT mode most of the time. So it's got eco mode, and then fast, and then GT. I had it in GT 95% of the time, and did get some battery sag. As you can see here, when the battery gets like below 30-40%, then when you're going up the hills, you see the battery indicator is coming right down, it's flashing red. As long as you keep the finger on the trigger, you're fine. It's just if you back off the trigger, it will stick the board down into eco, which is a pain in the butt, because then you don't have the power when you start off again. I done easily enough distance to get to work, using the AT wheels, going up and down hills that I won't normally be going up and down, so I'm pretty confident that it will get me to work. So I just wanted to check in and say what I've done in terms of the choice of the board, and we'll go from there, and I'll let you know. And I'm going to video the first ride to and from work. I'm just so limited by the weather at the moment because it keeps raining, so I don't want to get the board wet, because that's the other issue with them. They can't ride them in the wet because it messes with them. So the only other issue I had was when I started the board yesterday, in fast mode it felt like there was no power. I picked the board up and pressed the accelerator, and only one back wheel was working. Turned the board off, turned it back on again, and both wheels were fine. So I'm interested just to keep an eye on that. Hopefully that doesn't happen again. So first impressions of the board have been really good, and I'm happy, especially with the money I paid and the condition of the board. Like, I didn't clean it after yesterday's run. And like I say, the wheels are brand new. So I'm pretty happy. And then, like I say, worst case, I will stick a new battery in it and go from there. Update soon.